680's Richard Southern joins us. Richard, you look rested, and you had a good vacation?
I did, Francis. Good to be back. I was in Las Vegas for a few days, or as I like to call it, lost wages.
Well, you still have your shirt, which
just
is
barely,
good.
just barely. Yeah. I know it was a good time. Did you miss me at all, Francis?
I didn't even know you were gone.
Whoa.
But no, I'm kidding. Of course not. Of course I did.
Love my coworkers, you know. Good
so
people.
Did you win? Did you hit the jackpot at all? No.
Well, I'm back here at work, aren't I? No, I didn't do so hot, actually, but I had a good time. And it was in Los Angeles, and the traffic situation there made me feel like I was right back in Toronto again.
Yeah, crazy. Well, let's talk about Nike. Danielle's told us about the story with Colin Kaepernick as its new, I guess, ad model. But experts say that the company will actually gain a lot more than it will lose from this move.
Yeah, you know they've done their homework, right? And they know what customers they want to attract, and they know where this is going to play right. And, you know, companies, they used to never do this, never get into politics. But now it's different. Companies know that if you do it in the right way, get into politics, you can attract a certain type of consumer, the younger consumer, which is who they're all after. And those younger consumers tend to be more liberal on social justice issues, and many perceive Kaepernick to be kind of a champion for social justice. Apex Marketing Group says Nike has already won $43 million in media exposure. Most of it's positive. The stock was down 3% today, Francis, but Nike shares are up 50% over the past 12 months, so this might be just a blip on the radar.
So we're just weeks away now from cannabis becoming legal in Canada, and a major new survey finds a big disconnect between renters and landlords when it comes to toking at home.
Yeah, it seems like a fight might be brewing here in Canada when it comes to token up in your apartment. 28% of Canadian renters say they believe they have the right to smoke and to grow cannabis in their rental units, even if the landlord forbids it. But 62% of Canadian landlords say no. They feel renters should not be allowed to smoke cannabis in their rental units. Now, 59% of renters say they don't know if their insurance would cover any damages related to growing cannabis. 57% of landlords say they don't know whether their landlord insurance policy would cover it. So there's the big question there. We know a lot of renters, Francis, don't even have insurance. So if there was any damages, not clear where that would happen. Clearly, there's a little bit of fight brewing here as we move towards legalization.
And even about the rights of the tenants. So coming up on Friday on the Marijuana Files, we're actually going to be talking to a lawyer and exploring your rights as a tenant to see if landlords can suddenly change your lease and ban pot from your building.
Look forward to that. And there's ways you can do it clandestinely without actually making a smell. So it's going to be very interesting as we move forward.
Absolutely. So NAFTA talks are set to resume tomorrow. Today, though, an excerpt from a new tell-all book about Donald Trump reveals that the president's staff hid documents to prevent him from scrapping the trade pact altogether.
Yeah, he wanted to do away with NAFTA, and he said, okay, put this on my desk and I'll do away with it. Bob Woodward has this new book called Fear Out, and he writes, under orders from the president, Porter, who's an aide to President Trump, drafted a notification letter withdrawing from NAFTA. But he and other advisors worried that it could trigger an economic and foreign relations crisis. So Porter consulted with Cohen, another advisor, who told him, according to Woodward, I can stop this. I'll just take the papers off his desk.
Jeez.
And that's apparently what it did. And maybe Trump forgot about it. If true, Francis, it further points to the disarray in the White House when it comes to the NAFTA file. We had the Canadian dollar, by the way, down half a cent today amid all the NAFTA kerfuffle.
Okay. Well, it is a trend that's slowly catching on in some workplaces. Shake my head at it, but I can understand, too, paternity leave. This is for workers with new pets.
Yeah, it's like paternity leave for parents, but instead, if you get some time off, if you have a new kitten or a new puppy, Francis, growing number of companies doing this. In fact, it started in Minneapolis, where a marketing company there gave its employees an opportunity to work from home for a week if they got a new dog or cat. As for why they decided to implement the policy, a company spokesperson said the perk was just another step in helping employees start their families, even if those families were made up of fur babies rather than human ones. And we've seen companies tweak benefit packages in the recent years to try and attract people in and try and hold on to consumers. So maybe you and I, we're not necessarily dog people. We've talked about this before. Maybe we got to get a puppy so we can get some time off, Francis.
No, but you missed the catch, or they have to work from home still. So
yeah, you got to keep an eye on Fluffy.
That's right.
Who knows what he's up to?
So you've also stumbled upon, Richard, what could be the most bizarre fashion trend yet. What is it?
I actually pioneered this when I fill in for breakfast television and I get up at 3 in the morning. Sometimes I end up at work like this. They're selling inside-out jeans, Francis. Online retail company Fetch selling inside-out jeans. This is not a joke.
Is that the price? That's really the price? $1,100 bucks?
$1,100 No kidding. The jeans feature a pocket that reads, "To create something new, you must first destroy." There's also a mesh-like material similar to a pair of tights. Again, $1,100 for the new Rage inside-out jeans. You can make your own for a lot cheaper, I think, Francis.
Yeah, well, good thing you can't access the pockets because you have no money left to put in those pockets. So
Vegas cleaned me out.
So there are plenty of fictitious names and faces on grocery store items, but you've noticed that some popular foods that are named after real people.
Real people, you mightn't know it, so here are some of the fun ones. First off, Chef Boyardee. He was not a character created to sell ravioli.
He's real.
And he immigrated to the U.S. many years ago, started a restaurant in Cleveland, Ohio, started canning his goods, and there you got the Chef Boyardee. Next, Oscar Mayer. Oscar F. Mayer moved from Germany to the United States in 1873, opened his first meat shop there. Baskin-Robbins started when brothers-in-law Burton Baskin and Irvin Robbins opened an ice cream shop in 1953. Very cool. Guinness. Now, I went to the Guinness Brewery once in Dublin, and I toured it, so I know this. This was started in 1759 by Arthur Guinness, who brewed up the first batch back then. Tim Hortons, our younger viewers mightn't know that it was, in fact, named after a former Maple Leaf.
Then revoke their Canadian card, Richard.
Not everyone knows it. That's Tim Horton. Heinz, your ketchup, that was started by Mr. H.J. Heinz. Francis, he said he was so committed to making pure ketchup that he wanted it bottled in a clear bottle so you could see it. Wendy's, Dave Thomas named the burger chain after his daughter there, Wendy Thomas. And finally, you might know this one, Southern Comfort, the liqueur. It's named after Richard. It's Richard Southern Comfort, so I hear. Anyways, that's what we hear through the grapevine.
Yeah. You didn't find a D'Souza anything, no?
No D'Souza anything. I searched very hard, but if you're drinking the Richard Southern Comfort, you don't want to drink too much of it. You'll feel very sick.
I actually think there's like a D'Souza port.
That might go very nicely with the Richard Southern Comfort.
That would, yes.
Pair very nicely.
All right. Thank you, Richard. We'll see you tomorrow. Here's Pam.